Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to MALN Opinion Plus, a weekly series airing every Friday. This is a space for our opinions where we talk about current events and questions the Latino community is curious about. Today, we are joined by Executive Director of Sociedad Latina, Alexandra Oliver-Dávila, who has served in the nonprofit organization for 21 years. Over the years, she has been widely recognized for her service and dedication to Boston's Latino community. Welcome to our show, Alexandra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday. It's a pleasure to have you. Starting off, I was hoping you could give us an introduction to Sociedad Latina's history and its mission.
Sure, I'm happy to. Sociedad Latina was founded in 1968. We are the oldest Latino youth organization in Boston. And originally we were founded in South Boston, which is a pretty interesting time and place to be founded in terms of working with the Latino community in South Boston. And we began our work running a lot of social and recreational activities, lots of sports leagues and domino championships. And it was really just a place where immigrant Latinos could come and find fellowship with other Latinos. And about 10 years into our work, the founders realized that young people just needed much more supports. And that's when we started to work on peer-to-peer education, positive youth development, which we've been doing now. And we moved our programming over to Mission Hill, Roxbury, and we have been there for 40 plus years now, really embedded in the community. We are a citywide organization, and we work with young people from ages 14 to 21. And we focus on academic support, civic engagement, arts and culture, and workforce development. And we have a program that we call Pathways. And our Pathways is essentially, we start working with students in middle school for a 7 to 10 year pipeline where they can be part of numerous programs that we have, both opportunities that are paid, unpaid, and stipended. And we follow students into post-secondary. And for the past 6 years, we've had 100% high school graduation, and 86% of those students are still either employed or in college. And we predominantly focus on working with Latino youth. 75% of our youth self-identify as being Latino, and 65% of our youth are Spanish-speaking English language learners. And then we also work predominantly with Black African-American young people.
That's amazing. That's crucial work. And the diversity within that is great. So you've been a part of the organization for 2 decades. What has inspired you to continue your career within nonprofit work?
I think the thing that inspires me the most is the young people. And I never thought that I would stay anywhere for this long, but I love what I do. I feel really blessed that I actually get paid to do what I do. My job is wonderful because I get to work on creating and developing programs with young people that meet their interests and needs. And then at the same time, I actually work across the city and sometimes across the state on advocacy and policy, which is something that I'm very interested in. I have my master's in public policy, and I believe that policies should be made with the people that they are being made for. Because oftentimes those are made in a vacuum and negatively impact those that they're trying to help the most. And I think my job, I've stayed at it for so long, again, is because of the young people. I actually get to see young people on a daily basis. I get to talk to them. They're very inspiring. I think, all of their amazing ideas and the excitement that they bring and the hope that they bring, which sometimes I think we kind of lose as we get older, we get a little bit jaded. And just being able to witness the growth of young people. I have lots of alumni. We have a very active alumni program. And I see these young people, adults now working, having families and giving back to the community. And I think, what better way, to live my life than to be able to see that growth.
Absolutely. That makes complete sense. So next, I'm wondering how the pandemic has impacted the organization's operations and services throughout this past year.
Yeah, it's been a really tough year for everybody. The staff at Sociedad Latina have been amazing. They have really taken on not just the regular job that they do, running programs with young people, but also providing supports and case management to youth and families. When the pandemic began, we really assessed like what did our young people need? Did they need a computer? How were families faring? We tried to give as much information as we could at the time. What was known. Made sure that it was in Spanish so that our families could have access. And we have checked in with our families every week. Since we physically closed our offices in mid-March, and we have given about $100,000 in direct cash assistance, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for a small organization like ours, it is. And we have also provided food. We've provided academic, educational kits to students. We have sent instruments home because we have a music program and a visual arts program. We've sent art kits home. We have sent masks home, and you name it, A to Z, we have pretty much done it. We have continued our programs virtually with young people, and we've provided spaces for them not only to be in the actual program, but also to have time to stop in and socialize with each other or check in with the staff. Our staff have become social workers, really. And it's really doing double time. I'm really proud of the organization's ability to pivot. It's not the first time. When Hurricane Maria hit, our offices turned into a one-stop place where we actually brought the state to help people with their FEMA paperwork. We had Boston Public Schools on site registering students. We had the SNAP benefits on site. We had collected clothing and food and toiletries. So it was a one-stop shop. People got right off the plane with their suitcases and they came to us, and we really helped. And we've done that numerous times, and many times that there's been emergencies for our Latino community. So I think, we have done an amazing job. We have been able to continually engage our young people and just provide a space where they can receive social emotional supports during this time. And again, just keeping in touch with families, knowing that they have someone to talk to. We've connected families who need to apply for unemployment in Spanish. For undocumented families, we have connected them with all kinds of services, including, again, cash assistance because they don't receive that from the federal government. So, we have really just gone above and beyond. And, we're not the only one, obviously, but we have really pivoted and really worked with our families.
It absolutely sounds like it. Excuse me. But thank you for sharing that. I hadn't read a lot about that, so it's amazing to hear. There's obviously been plenty of available research showing that people of color have experienced an array of COVID-19 related issues at a disproportionately high rate. How has the pandemic specifically impacted Boston's communities of Latinos? You kind of already talked a bit about that, but if you can go more into it, please.
Sure. It's devastating. What we have, we on the ground, our staff, because we've been talking with our families on a consistent basis, we knew the effects and the impact of COVID on our Latino community. And that was not, you couldn't see that early on. It wasn't captured in the data. And we kept saying, that our community has been disproportionately impacted. I am part of a network of Latino-led community-based organizations called the Greater Boston Latino Network, and several of our members are on the City of Boston's Health and Equities Task Force, which was formed by Mayor Walsh to look at the disparity among communities of colors with COVID and the pandemic. And so in that space, we've been able to really drive home that our community has been severely impacted even before you saw the data. Now we're seeing the data and the devastating effects. And so we've been able to really work with the city to figure out, how we get information and communicate with the Latino community in a culturally appropriate way. And also to be able to really help the city to figure out where they should do testing. And now we're working with the city around the vaccination process. But it has been devastating. And, you know, many of our families are essential workers. Many lost their job, became unemployed, or had their jobs cut. So it's been pretty devastating. And then having families who've been hit by COVID, you know, where they don't have places where they can quarantine in a safe way, it made it extremely difficult. So that you had whole families really having, you know, just you know, having COVID altogether is pretty devastating. And then, you know, if you look at the impact also of not having school and the devastation that brings in terms of the isolation for young people, the challenges that we've seen with the Latino community and the digital divide, and, you know, how our young people don't have, you know, Wi-Fi, don't have the technology. And so a situation that is leaving students behind is leaving Latino students even more behind because of all of the divides that we already were there, but they've been extremely spotlighted during this pandemic.
Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out. That is something that we have to pay attention. And it's great to just hear, though, your organization's providing a wide variety of resources. I'm wondering how residents can get involved and stay updated with Sociedad Latina.
Sure. If you head to our website, which is www.sociedadlatina.org, you can sign up to be a volunteer. There's a link to volunteer, and you can just shoot us an email. We have tons of volunteer opportunities that you can do virtually that include like mentoring, tutoring, doing mock interviews with students, having students job shadow, providing internship experiences, also students who are writing their college essays or applying to college. We would love to have tutors around that. We also have college coaches. So those are all opportunities that, and we have many, many more, but you can find on our website absolutely many, many ways to get involved. And, you know, now with all these ways to do it virtually, we're fortunate. We've had a jump in our volunteers, which is great.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we actually do still have some time, and I'm wondering, for Latino residents specifically, how can they get in touch with these services? Is it mainly their website? Can it go in person? Sort of different ways they can do that and learn about these services as well.
Yeah, right now we're not in person. However, in the spring and summer, our offices will be open, and we are really excited because our building has just been renovated and it's to reopen. So it's going to be really fantastic. So you can stop in the spring and summer. You can also head to the website. You can also call us. Our number is 617-442-4299. And we're happy, you know, to help anybody who needs any kind of support or who, again, would like to volunteer. We're pretty easy to find. And right now, again, we are virtual, but with the idea that we are going to be doing some kind of in-person hybrid programming starting in the spring and summer.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm very excited to follow through with your work and see the upcoming projects you present with us. Thank you so much for talking with us, Executive Director Oliver-Dávila, and for being our guest on MALN Opinion Plus.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, it was my pleasure. Everyone, please tune in next week for another episode. Follow us on Twitter at MA Latino News and Instagram at MA_Latino News. I'm Belen Dumont with MALN Opinion Plus, and I will see you all next time.